Hey everyone, me again. Welcome back to my decluttering series. So if you haven't seen the first episode, that featured my foundations, primers and concealers. So I'm going to leave the link to that on the screen and in the description box. But right now we are getting on to a few more base products in my collection. So in this video I wanted to sort through my setting powders, my highlighters, my bronzers and my contour products. And I would have done the blushes in this video as well because I feel like that kind of rounds it up quite nicely. However, there are so many blushes in my stash that they are going to need their own video. I don't know how I've accumulated that many blushes, but I'll worry about that next time. Anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to just sort everything out like I did for the last video and then take it from there. So as you might be able to see, I have a ridiculous amount of highlighters, so we're going to do that last of all. And I only have 2 bronzers, which isn't that bad for a makeup hoarder like me. I really thought there'd be more than this. But I have the Body Shop Honey Bronzer in 01, and I have the Maybelline, I think this is called the Brick Bronzer, or something like that, but it's in the palest shade anyway. These are both really nice. I probably use the Body Shop one a bit more. This is the one that I use on a daily basis and it's great for travel as well because it's got the mirror in there. However, I do want to hang on to this Maybelline one because that will really come in handy for drugstore makeup tutorials and things like that. Because Body Shop, I don't know if people really count that as drugstore. So I'm going to keep both of those. I did used to have the Makeup Revolution Ultra bronzer, which I really like, but that smashed and I haven't repurchased it just yet because I've got these other 2 on the go. So I'm going to keep both of those. That was easy. So you might be able to see from my contour products that only one of them is actually a dedicated contour product. The other 3 are an eyebrow powder and 2 eyeshadow powders. Because I'm super pale, a lot of the contour products on the high street are just far too dark for me. They do not work at all, so I tend to not stick to them. I use other powders instead of contour and that works really well for me. So I'm probably going to keep all of these as well actually because there just aren't that many. So there's my L'Oreal Infallible Sculpt and I do actually really enjoy using this. It looks quite dark in the pan, however, you might be able to see when you blend it out, it just disappears. Lovely. So it blends really nicely into the skin and you can just wear it quite sheer and get something really subtle out of it, or you can just keep building it up. This is a really nice way to add definition to your face when you're having a very minimal makeup day. I never used a highlight, but I do really like that contour, so I'm going to hang on to that. That's really nice. I've also got this Freedom Duo Brow Powder in the shade Blonde. I don't know if they've discontinued this shade because I can't seem to find it on their website anymore. So there are 2 eyebrow shades in here. There's like a slightly more ashy one and then a slightly darker one. I like to swirl the 2 together and that just gives me a really nice contour shade for my super pale skin. I love this, so I'm keeping that. And then I have 2 single eyeshadows from Makeup Revolution that I like to use as contours as well. So this one I've actually hit pan on. This is called Hung Up. This is a really nice taupe matte shade. Once it's on your face, this is a really natural contour for super pale skin like mine. It works really well, trust me. And then there's this one which I've taken a sticker off it for some reason. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I've used quite a fair bit of this one as well. This is a really nice contour shade too. I'd say that this one is probably better if you've got a slightly darker skin than mine. However, I'm still going to keep it. So I haven't cleared out very much so far, but I feel like when I get to the highlighters, that's going to completely change because I've got a few. So let's look at some, oh, that's in the wrong place. And so is that actually. So I've got 2 of the MUA Professional Transparent Powders. They just come in this little black case like this, and as you can see, it's white, so it's completely translucent, and there's a mirror here. This is really good for travel. When I hit pan on this, I actually purchased a backup one. This is still in its shrink wrap. I can keep this in my drawer until I've used up another powder. So I'm going to hang on to both of these. These are absolutely great for travel. They're the only powder I have that can survive being carried around in my makeup bag, so I'm holding on to these for sure. I recently picked up one of the Rimmel Stay Matte powders. I used to really love this in university, so I thought I would give it another go. And so far I'm actually really enjoying it. It really does keep my makeup looking matte for quite a long time. It's a really impressive product considering it's only about £4, maybe a bit less. I've really been enjoying using that and it's quite new, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this. You're probably going to notice that whenever I mention something that isn't an affordable product from Boots or Superdrug, that there's usually a bit of a backstory to it, and this is definitely one of those products. So I mentioned last time that I got sent a few products by Feel Unique for a competition, and this was another one of the things that they sent me. This is the Nude by Nature Translucent Setting Powder. I love the packaging for this. So you just kind of tap this little mesh thing here. I'm not pressing it too hard because I don't want to waste a load of product. But when you tap it, the powder all comes out and it's really nice. I really like the effect that this has on the skin. It kind of sets everything, but it's not too mattifying, it's not too dewy, it's just somewhere really nice in between, looks very natural. Definitely holding on to this one. I've got the Primark PS Mattifying Pressed Powder. This is the shade Porcelain. The actual powder itself is really nice, and I think if you're on a budget, then definitely check out Primark makeup. They've got loads of gems. However, I think the shade is a little bit too dark for me, and the packaging is kind of disintegrating as I'm filming this, which is fantastic. It's a really nice product, so I'm going to pass it on to someone who isn't quite as pale as me. I've also got the Ben Nye Neutral Set Colourless Powder. I had so many people on YouTube talking about this, and I thought I'd try it out, use it for baking. I will admit, it does keep your makeup locked in place. If you have got seriously oily skin, if your makeup just seems to slide off your face, if you live somewhere that's very humid, then maybe give this a go. Maybe you'll really love it, but I don't think this is for me. I actually don't bake that often. I have fine lines underneath my eyes and dry skin, so I've never quite made the whole baking thing work for me. And honestly, when I wear this, I usually feel like my skin is a little bit sensitive. I do have sensitive skin anyway, but I feel like this just makes me feel a little bit itchy on my face, so I don't think I get on with this, but I think there are probably quite a few people who will, so I'm going to give this away. So I'm really happy with the progress that I made on the setting powders. I feel like that's quite a sensible amount now, so I don't need to worry about that. But what I do really need to hone down on is the highlighters. So these are my highlighters, and even though you can see that there are probably more than I can use before they expire, I still really like quite a lot of them. I know that a lot of them are battered. I know that the lids have fallen off quite a lot of them, but that's because I get really cheap highlighters. They do just as good a job as the higher end ones, and then I travel with them basically. So a lot of these are really good products, but they've got cheaper packaging to make up for their lower price tag, but they are very well loved. Highlighter is probably one of my favourite parts of makeup, along with eyeshadow and lipstick, which I'm really not looking forward to decluttering, by the way, because there's so many, oh my god. But anyway, I'm staring at these and I'm thinking, how am I going to narrow this down? Because even the ones I don't use, I still look at them and I think, oh, it's so pretty. So let's start with the cream ones. There's 2 liquid highlighters and 1 kind of cream highlighter here. So let's have a look at this one. This is the Essence So Glow. I was actually given this by a friend. See, this is really nice. I don't know why I don't reach for this more often. It's a really beautiful formula. The colour looks very, very pretty. Yeah, I really thought that I would get rid of this because I don't reach for it, but I think I'm going to keep this in my collection and try to use it more often because this is really nice. I've also got 2 liquid highlighters here. So there is the Technic Highlights, which is a dupe for the Benefit highlighter. I think it's called High Beam, except it's £1.99 instead of 20 quid or however much the Benefit one is. And this one is the Gosh Lumi Drops in the shade Vanilla. Now from memory, I think that these are both very, very similar, so I don't know if I'm going to need to hold on to both of them, but they're both so pretty. Oh, they are a little bit different actually. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the difference on camera, but in real life I can definitely see differences between the two. So this is the Technic one, and it's definitely a bit more frosty. It's a bit more of a kapow highlighter, but still doesn't have any glitter in it. And then the Gosh one is actually a little bit more sheer, but still really nice. So this may seem a little bit obsessive, but I think I'm actually going to keep both of them. I really enjoy using both of them, so I'm going to hang on to them. Okay, let's make this a bit easier. So this is the Primark PS Strobing Kit. I actually featured this when I was testing Primark makeup in a recent video. The shades in this are really pretty, and I was really happy when I saw this in the store. However, as you'll have seen in the video, they are very, not tricky to use, but just, I don't know, like this really nice pale one is really powdery. There's quite a lot of product fallout when you use this. Even though I do like the colours for this, I know that because the formula is quite powdery and there's loads of fallout, there's just other products that I'm going to reach for on a day-to-day basis, but I've only used this for that video and to swatch it a couple of times. So I think I'm going to pass this on to a friend and hopefully they'll get to enjoy using it. Oh, I really don't want to get rid of this one. This is another Technic highlighter. The packaging has fallen apart again. It's called the Get Gorgeous highlighter. If you have pale skin and you're looking for a highlighter that is really, really cheap but not too shimmery, then definitely pick this up. It's beautiful. I love that. That's not going anywhere. I really like this one from Makeup Revolution. So as you can see, it looks completely white there. It's a bit softer than most Makeup Revolution highlighters. I think there is still a little bit of shimmer in it, but not very much. I really like this. I really like a kind of more sheeny, stroby sort of highlighter. So I think I'm going to hang on to this one. This is the Vivid Baked Highlighter in Everglow Lights, so that's going to stay. Beautiful highlighter for winter as well if you're as pale as me. That reminds me, I actually have another product that I use as a highlighter. This is actually an eyeshadow from Collection. I don't know the shade name, but it's a single white eyeshadow. So I actually bought this with the intention of using it as a highlighter because I was really struggling to find like a pure white one. And I really like this eyeshadow for that purpose. So that's just going in the keeping pile. Oh, this is another one of the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked highlighters. This one is in the shade Radiant Lights. I really hope you guys can see these swatches okay. But as you can see, it's a bit more of a pink one. I do really like this, so I think I'm gonna have to hold on to this one for sure. I really love this range of the Revolution strobe highlighters. If I can just close this. Do wish that they had slightly better packaging, but I guess that's what you get for the price tag because it was only £3. I've also got this highlighter, which is another Makeup Revolution one. Makeup Revolution do lots of really good quality, affordable highlighters. Definitely recommended if you're on a budget. This one also has broken packaging. It's called the Radiant Lights in Exhale. I don't think they actually make this anymore because I bought it quite a while ago, but it's a really pretty highlighter. It's kind of a similar sort of tone to a few of the other highlighters I have, but it's definitely one of my more frosty, more shimmery highlighters. I do really like this. I think that it's absolutely beautiful. However, I know that I don't reach for this, and I think it's because it's just a little bit too glittery and I just prefer a sort of natural glow. Like, I don't like a highlighter that has too much glitter in it, and I think that this one is just a little bit OTT for me personally. I'd rather have something like the Technic one that is quite sheer, but then you can just build it up to get more and more of a glow depending on what mood you're in, whereas this one is just instant bam highlight, which is lovely for some people, but I just don't reach for it, so I think I'm going to say goodbye to this one. Okay, let's see what we have here. So I have two of the Freedom Pro highlighters here. Freedom are part of Tan Beauty, same people who make the Makeup Revolution products, so I really like their highlighters as well. I think that this one is ambient and this one is a little bit dark from memory. Yeah, that's more of like a tan sort of colour, but I do really like it. And then there's diffused as well. Yeah, I really like this one as well. So this one at the end is the shade Ambient. On me it's too dark to use as a highlighter, but I still want to hang on to it. I think it's a really nice bronzer topper. And it can also make a really good eyeshadow as well, so yeah, I'm going to hang on to that. And then I took the shade Diffused and I thought it looked a lot like the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in Radiant Lights. So this is the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in Radiant Lights, and this is the Freedom Pro Highlight in Diffused. And I know that they look almost exactly the same. and they swatch almost exactly the same, and to be honest, they probably are almost exactly the same. They even have the same amount of product, 7.5 grams, and they have a very similar effect to them, so I don't really know if I need to hang onto them both, but I really like both of them. I've actually been using this one a lot as a eyeshadow quite recently, and a blush topper. This one I do just tend to use as a straight up highlighter. So I know this might seem a little bit ridiculous because they're so similar, but I love them both, and I think I'm actually going to hold on to both of them because I genuinely wear shades like this all the time, probably on a daily basis. Next we have a Soap & Glory Glow All Out highlighter. This looks a little bit dark in the pan, but from memory I think it actually swatches, yeah, it swatches much lighter. I'm not sure, I think this actually looks very, very pink compared to my other highlighters. So I don't really reach for this one a lot because I think it is a little bit darker than my other highlighters, and I don't think with this many highlighters in my collection I'm probably going to start reaching for it anytime soon. So I think I might say goodbye to this one. There's still a lot of product left in here, so I think one of my friends is really going to enjoy using it. It even still has the embossing on it. I think this was actually passed on to me by someone who tried it and didn't get on with it. So I'm going to pass it on, and eventually it will find its way into a loving home. I also have this little trio from Makeup Revolution. This is their highlight palette, and I don't know if this has a shade name, but it's the one that has the 3 Vivid Baked highlighters next to each other. So there's this very sort of frosty yellowy gold toned one, and then there's a pink one, and then there is a purple one right at the end. These are definitely not shades that I would wear on an everyday basis at all. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to pull off this gold one. However, that being said, I have been thinking about picking up some kind of rainbow highlighter or something, or unicorn highlighter for Halloween. And this to me looks like the colours that I've been eyeing up and thinking of buying already, because I wanted something that had a bit of a bluey or a purple tone and one that had a bit of a pinky tone, and they're both here. So I think I'm going to hold on to this. I think I'm going to use that purple one the most when I want a really like bold glow. I think this will look really nice for parties, for Halloween, for New Year's Eve, that kind of thing. So for now I'm going to hold on to it. We'll see if it stays in my collection in my next declutter. So that is my second decluttering video all wrapped up. I know that I didn't get rid of as many products in this video, so sorry about that, but that's because I just don't have as many like setting powders and bronzers and contours and other things, which is why I kind of condensed it into one video. So I hope that you still enjoyed this. For the next episode I think I'm going to go through all my blushes, so that's going to be fun. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss the next decluttering video, and I will see you guys next Sunday at 9 AM. Bye!